know what I think it is, Joel? I think people see us, they see our life, they say, damn, he has a Cullinan, Vince has an SVJ, and they think to some degree it's not achievable. You know, like one thing I noticed, like, and you probably noticed too, when you were early on in your barber stages, or I was early on with coaching and consulting, a lot more people were like, damn, I love what you're doing. And I feel like we reach a point where it seems unattainable to them. But all we're doing is following the same principles that we teach.
Yep.
So I want to make it clear to everybody watching this, we're no different than you at all. But the one thing that we do have that's different is our mindsets. And if they can adopt our exact same mindsets, they'll get the exact same result. That's what people don't understand.
Yep. And it's an unconventional path that we had to take to get here. When I was 17, I pulled up the YouTube and I'm watching how to be an entrepreneur videos. I get this ad from this guy who's in LA and he's like, yo, here in my garage, I got this Lamborghini. But what's more important is I got knowledge. And he's showing like a bookshelf. I was sitting in my living room and my mom's making spaghetti in the kitchen and I'm just like, fuck the food, let me watch this video. And usually you skip an ad after 3 seconds or 5 seconds, you can hit the skip. I was like, fuck, let me click the video and watch the whole shit. It was like an hour, bro. And I'm in like the walkway in my living room where you're supposed to sit on the couch. I'm like right in the middle. It's a little inconvenient, but I was like, I'm sucked into this video. And I watched the whole hour. At the end, he makes a pitch. And he's like, if you want to join the community and learn how to achieve this life, get these type of cars and this life. He was in a mansion in LA and I'm in this shitty house in Ohio, town of 5,000 people where fuck people barely even have teeth in their mouth because they do so much like drugs and it's just a bad environment. So it like captivated my attention to see this extreme life. And I didn't think, oh, I could never have that. I thought, fuck, this is what's possible. I could drive supercars. All I gotta do is what this guy says. I said, Mom, can I please have your credit card? This would be my only Christmas gift. It's the only thing I'll ever ask from you. Can you buy me this course? She bought me the shit. It was $67. I took notes in my phone to this day in my notes. I have fucking pages, paragraphs of notes on this simple course. And it got me started into entrepreneurship. And the whole summary of that course was he had to take an unconventional path to get that Lamborghini, that mansion. And so it convinced me, fuck college, fuck this job I'm working. Yeah. I dropped out of school. At the time it didn't look good, but I was so sold on it that I can have that life. Instead of reacting how you said, like, oh, it's not for me, he's flexing on me.
Yeah. Was it Ty Lopez?
It was Ty Lopez.
Ty Lopez, awesome, bro. Yeah, I had a moment like that. For me, it was a mentor. I used to play a lot of video games, like Fortnite, and I'm watching this dude's YouTube stream. He's playing Fortnite, and he's a day trader. Now, I didn't end up doing day trading, but this dude was a day trader. He was 27 years old. He had a Rolls Royce. Yep. I ended up just playing with him, and I'd win him game, and I'd ask him a bunch of questions. Like, how'd you become successful? What are the top books you should read? So I'd win him games in order to attain his knowledge. Yeah. And it was Fortnite. A cycle of that for like 4 months. And then he's like, you know what, Vince, come out to LA. And I went out to LA at 16 years old. We took my friend's beat up Toyota and we drove down there and he pulls up in this drop top Phantom. And when I saw that car, it was like a different energy. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, it was like that Rolls Royce energy. Yeah. I'm like, this dude just pulled up in a $250,000 car. He's 27, I'm 16. Yeah. And that was the thing for me where I was like, oh shit, this is possible. You know? And one thing that I think everybody should do, you should be a chameleon to all of the people that you want to be like. You should adopt certain traits that they have. So that was the only guy I knew. Yep. And I was like, I'm gonna act exactly like this dude no matter what. Fine. You know, and I took a lot of the success principles from him. I didn't end up succeeding with day trading, but a lot of the life principles he taught me on success, I took those to this day. But I think everybody needs that one thing that they see or hear to really believe, damn, I can do this shit too. It opens the door. What happened next for me, now that the door was opened to take an unconventional path, just like how you saw the car, the next step in the path presented itself. And I was cutting for like $15 a cut, which at the time was a lot in my town. And my guy in my chair is like, bro, you know what? I see you're real passionate about this. There's a barber who cuts Ohio State, Ezekiel Elliott, all the players, the top guys are about to go to the NFL. I say you book him for a haircut and ask him how to get to the next level. He's in Columbus. You got to drive about an hour. I was in a small town, Nelsonville, Ohio. Once again, yo, Mom, she bought me a pair of clippers. She bought me the course. And I said, Mom, like, I just need you to drive me to Columbus. If you can drive me to this mentor, like, I'll pay for the haircut. I'll book him for a haircut. She takes me. And I'd say, bro, I have this dream of going to California. I don't know how I'm going to do it,
but that's my goal. And I show him the exact barbershop that I want to work at. I was specific. And he looked at me dead in my eyes and he's like, don't just go to California. You're going to be the best in the barbershop. And it was the best shop in the country in my eyes. So I'm like, what? Best barber in the world? What the fuck? Like, how's that even possible? I'm from a small town. Didn't have my dad growing up. Food stamps, free lunches at school, hand-me-down clothes, thrift store. Self-image is below what you're telling me that I can achieve. He raised my self-image just by his words and the conviction he had. He's like, no, you're gonna go there and be the best. And because I respected his words so much, I didn't want to downgrade and disappoint him.
Yeah.
So I went home, I stacked money in a shoebox, and there was no boards in my ceiling. So I had a shoebox up there. Every haircut, I fucking took the $10, stuck it in that little box. After a year, I had 10 grand. And I took that shit and bought a one-way flight. Never looked back.
Man, that's awesome.
But it's all because fucking Ty Lopez opened my eyes, unconventional path. Next step, client says, you have to get this new mentor. Fuck, all right, mentor believes in me more than I believe in myself, raises my self-image. Next step takes. So what happened after you saw the Rolls Royce in person?
Man, what it is I think what you just went off of. It's like, you know, we had some degree of self-belief before, but sometimes you don't even fully believe. You believe that they believe.
Yeah.
So you believe that that dude cutting your hair believed, and you went off of his word and not yours. It was the same thing for me. My mentor would tell me, Vince, you're gonna be the best, like you're gonna kill it. I just believed in his word and I followed what he said. For everybody out there just starting out, like mentors are the biggest game changer. It's the only cheat code to life, finding somebody that's already where you wanna be and learning from them. But one thing that I think is a blessing for both of us is actually spending most of our lives without a father figure. I always say most people are chained to poverty through inherited beliefs, but we didn't have that ceiling. So what most people use that as an excuse, oh, you know, I don't have my dad and my life's unfair. We use that shit to our advantage. We really had no male figure to tell us, no, you're not doing that. My mom used to tell me, oh, if your dad was here and he knew you were dropping out of school, that wouldn't end well. But he wasn't there. So I did drop out of school and I didn't listen, and I found mentors, and eventually I became successful. So that's a superpower in disguise. You know, they always say, you know, they crack jokes like, oh, to be the best NBA player, you gotta have no dad. But the truth is, there's no limiting beliefs or inherited beliefs to hold you back.
Wow,
you know?
Wow, blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
So the next step for you, after you were exposed to that, you had that belief. You didn't have your father, so you doubled down on your intuition.
Yeah.
How did it unfold right after being 17, 18? How old were you when you saw the car?
Yeah, so I was 16 years old, like end of 16.
Yeah.
Now, at the time, I was thinking, oh, I'm going to do day trading too and become successful. And during this whole thing, like when you don't have any signs of success at all, you know, it's tough. Like my mom didn't fully believe in, like she believed in me, but she's like, this trading thing isn't picking up. You dropped out of high school. You don't have a job. She's like, Vincent, I need you to go stay with your brothers. You know, like I'm doing some stuff at the house. You're going to stay with your brothers for a little bit. And I stayed with them, and I accidentally found the gym and self-improvement. You know, and I realized as I built my physique in the gym, as I showed up for myself, as I got better every single day, I built that self-confidence. It goes back to what I said earlier. You don't find yourself as a man, you build yourself. So I built myself. I was still doing day trading at this time, keep in mind. And then I saw a lot of people that were doing fitness, selling fitness programs. I was like, okay, this looks like something I can make a lot of money from. So I dropped my first like $20 fitness program. The first day, bro, sale. It was probably like you when you first started cutting hair. You're like, what the fuck? Somebody just paid me 15 bucks and they're doing it every single day. Like that was my experience. So I didn't care about day trading anymore. Blew my trading account. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, I'm done with that shit now. And I just went all in on one thing. Like people think success is having 7 different streams of income. You should have one thing that you focus on for as long as possible and master. And then once you have the income from that one thing, then you diversify into 7 different things. So for me, I just went all in on fitness, self-improvement, fitness, just the fitness niche in general. I'm building a tech app that actually builds people's fitness programs for them. It's AI.
Sick.
But you see how I doubled down into this one thing. I was like, this is my industry. I'm not doing anything else. I saw you stick to the barbering industry, even when other mentors you had tell you, switch over to fitness, switch over to this. And you kind of stuck around. I was talking to Russ in the car about this. I was like, bro, there's nobody else in the barbering industry pulling up in a new Cullinan. You know what I mean?
Facts.
You just paved the way.
That's facts. Wow. Yeah. the next step for me is when I took the one-way flight, I still didn't have a guarantee of the path. I just had fucking hatred for my old life.
Yeah.
I got Malcolm X right here, and he has this quote, he has this quote that what you do not hate, you will eventually tolerate. So I woke up. What really made me buy the one-way flight, is one morning we had so many floods in that basement. It rains in Ohio like how it rains in Miami, except for a fucking real rain. It's not just 10 minutes. So it would flood. The walls weren't patched and sealed. So I would wake up normally to like an inch of water and be tiptoeing through this shitty apartment. It was the basement of my mom's house. And one morning it was like 6 a.m. I was sleeping in, and I felt something on my forehead wake me out of my sleep. And it's like I'm dreaming, but then it wakes me up. As soon as I sit up, I feel it crawling down my face, and it's a fucking giant roach, water bug. I start smacking my face, like trying to kill it before it crawls off the bed. The fucking thing jumps off the bed before I can kill it. And now I'm like, bro, I'm not going back to sleep. Like, I'm up. My heart's beating. I'm all pissed off and angry. Like, why the fuck am I sleeping in a room on a mattress with mold and flooded water? This isn't even a good living environment. Like, this is my life. I dropped out of school. I took this unconventional path, but I have no fucking results. And so I was sick of myself. I was sick of my environment. That woke me up in life. That was like an alarm clock that literally said, I don't give a fuck. If I win, I'm leaving. The flight is done. I didn't ask for permission. Mom, what do you think about this? If maybe this is, if I go to, no, fuck it. The mentor told me I could do it. I'm not waiting anymore. Up to that point, I was still comfortable saving, hoping once I have enough savings, I can guarantee success out there. I just surrendered. And so I booked the one-way flight.
Yeah, that's awesome, bro. I have a similar story where, like, I'd always take the city bus, and the cool kids, they're riding home in their nice cars. You know, they're taking the school bus, which was like a status symbol for me. Just, now, you know, I'm seeing all the kids walk to the school bus with some of the girls that I liked, and I'm walking to the city bus like a damn loser. I'm seeing all the girls, the pretty girls leaving with the dudes with the cars.
Yeah.
And I'm walking my mile to the city bus, and the cool kids pull up next to me in like a nice ass Mercedes, and they honk, they call me the N-word. Like, N-word, and I jumped. And they're all like, ha ha ha, ha, and they drove off. And that was my moment where, repeat that quote again you said about Malcolm X?
He said, what you do not hate, you will eventually tolerate.
Yeah. So that was my moment where I was like, I hate this shit.
Yeah.
I'm not going to school.
Come on.
That's not how I'm gonna get rich young. I'm not gonna be made fun of and walk home and take the city bus. And I went home and I'd have back and forth arguments with my mom. I was like, I'm dropping out of school. And she'd say, Vincent, you know, if you drop out of school, she'd threaten to kick me out. You know, I'm gonna have to kick you out. I was like, I don't care. I was like, I'm not going to school. I'd rather be homeless and figure out how to get rich than just take the route of sitting behind a desk and getting made fun of. Yeah. And that's exactly what I did. Yeah, you have to hate your current situation. You gotta completely be done with it to actually elevate and grow. That's a great quote.
That actually is our gift. A lot of people watching this don't have results yet. So they think I'm not powerful like Vincent and his SVJ. I can't change and reshape my identity or my world. But the truth is, we were probably most powerful when we had that much hatred for our life, because we're willing to do anything to change it. Yeah, that quote, what you do not hate, you eventually tolerate, is like Malcolm X was trying to free the slaves. He was trying to get them to say, look, you don't have to be a slave. Like your wife being given up and taken advantage of, your kids not being able to eat, like fearing for your life every day. You can actually change your situation. He was trying to get them to stop being comfortable. And of course, we're not actually slaves in 2025, but the way that people live, like you said, they lost the game.
Yeah.
Like, wake up. What is it that changed as far as your physical world? Once your inner world changed and you decided to drop out, you decided to go for it and stop being like a slave?
Yeah. The thing for me is, as soon as I dropped out of school and made that decision that I'm not going back and there's no plan B, that was when I was actually in the game and on offense. I was no longer leaving my fate up to somebody else.
Yeah.
They say you can build out your own dreams or get hired to build somebody else's. I no longer wanted to be a slave and get hired to build somebody else's. So even though I was starting at ground zero, like I said, when you're at ground zero, you have nothing to lose. That was the first moment where, okay, my next meal is up to me. The next dollar I make is up to me. me becoming somebody is up to me. It's not up to college. It's not up to a degree. It's not up to any of that. It's up to me. And it was when I fully got on offense and just got rid of all defense that I started to become successful. Most people are on defense because they have the luxury of defense.
Yeah.
What if it doesn't work out though? And what if this,
Yeah.
that? I was like, I didn't have a what if I had to pull this shit off,
Yeah.
or I'd be fucked.
Yeah.
You know, so like that was the biggest mindset shift for me, was actually, you know, like being in the game of survival. That's how it starts out. I was like, I'm in the mode of survival now. I just want to pay my damn bills, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, if I could get paid to work out and cover my food, my supplements, and the rent that I pay my brother, then that'll be the dream life. Like we would literally split fucking Jack in the Box burgers, bro. We go at 1 a.m. They're working at Amazon. I already left that game. I was like, I'm not doing that. We'd fucking cut Jack in the Box burgers in half and just fucking eat them. And when I first started selling fitness programs, the little $20 ones, I'd go to the store and I'd find TV dinners in bundles of 5. Like, you know, like if you get 5 of them, they're $2.
Yeah.
You know, I just stack those up and continue the bulk. So people say, you know, Vince, eat healthy and that's not proper and this, that. I didn't have the fucking luxury to eat healthy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, most, that's a fucking luxury.
Yeah.
So I was just eating what I could. Fast food, fucking TV dinners. It's a whatever it takes mentality. That's what not a lot of people have. You want to be successful, it has to be whatever it takes. I'm willing to put everything on the line and lose everything I currently have and place a bet to get to the next level.
Yeah.
You know?
On like a spiritual level, that just proves it to the universe or God that you're not attached to what he currently gave you and you're not going to settle. He wants to see us show that we don't care about the level up he gave us materially, but that we actually are aligned and congruent with the purpose he gave us, that gifted us this. So it showed up in your world materially. You were able to go online, show your fitness transformation.
Yeah.
And walk me through the next step. At this point, you're like 19.
Yeah, so I started to realize as I'm uploading these fitness transformations, this shit's bigger than me. I'm like, why am I being pushed this much? I got like 2.5 billion views on TikTok my first year. And I realized I was pushing an important message. That was why God gave me a platform. I was pushing something society was missing as a whole, which was just self-improvement. Going from skinny to built, which was what initially I did all fitness. And I was like, this shit is bigger than me, I'm serving a purpose. So I continued with that. I just kept doing what worked. I'd advertise my fitness program, I'd post more transformations. I'd advertise my fitness program, I'd post more transformation. And I started to realize it was bigger than that too. Now I needed to find my voice and like the message that I was pushing. I can't just be the kid that posts a before photo and an after photo. I know everybody in the gym industry is just posting shirtless photos but giving no value. So I started with captions and I'd start texting value. And my real like die-hard followers would resonate with those text messages. And then I started talking. And then over time, I went from just that dude online to, like I was saying, Vincent Fisher. Everybody that's given a platform is given it for a certain reason. Some people are given their platforms by God. Some people are given their platforms by the devil. And they promote degeneracy, gambling, sports betting, like we were saying. But when you know you have a platform that's given by the Most High, it's your duty to wake up and inspire. Back to what we said in the gym, all of these are just tools. I have to use them every single day to make the world a better place. Even though people are gonna hate on you from the outside and say, oh, this dude's doing too much. I had somebody say, Vince, why do you show your cars so much? Like, I drive the cars every day. I live in this place. I can see it with my own 2 eyes. I do it so you can visualize success. You know, so like not a lot of people understand that. It goes back to what we were saying. The difference between somebody who is motivated and somebody who hates it is the motivated person believes they can do it as well. The person who hates it, they think you're showing them something they can never have.
Yeah, facts. Damn. So when they hate, it's literally just exposing what they're judging. Yeah, the whole point of this episode is to inspire. There's someone watching this right now that's seeing your life, and until they heard you speak, is when they finally realize, oh, I can do it too. Imagine if you were just a gym bro who just showed it.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Exactly.
So what helped you be able to build your voice? You said that the next step was going from fitness transformation, videos and photos, but now you found your voice and spoke.
It's just understanding that everything's uncomfortable until it becomes comfortable.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not gonna be good at this. It's gonna feel weird at first. I'm not gonna be used to holding a camera and talking to it. But I'm gonna show up every day, and like I said, my goal is improvement. So I mean, I just got better at speaking from number one, practicing, number two, listening to a lot of great speakers.
Yeah.
There's people on podcasts, successful people. I think when you really do watch thousands of hours of success talk and self-development from some of the greatest speakers, you're going to eventually build a voice too.
Come on.
You know, so yeah, I think it starts out remodeling those people and then finding your own voice in between that.
I was in Sacramento for the one-way flight. And like I said, it's the best barbershop in the country in my eyes. And I get there, the owner of the shop is like, wow, that's amazing. Like, thanks for visiting us. Nice to meet you. When do you go back to Ohio? And I looked at him and I'm like, back to Ohio? Like, no, I moved here. Like, I don't have a plan to go back to Ohio. I just got a one-way flight. And he pauses, and I can see his like brain like clicking, and he's like, oh fuck, and this kid has to work in my shop or else he's gonna be homeless. And so he said, all right, bro, like, there's one spot in the shop. I guess you'll start next week. Let's figure out how to get you to be an apprentice since you don't have a barber license yet. And that was when I learned that boldness is a greater sign or indicator of success than intelligence, because I actually wasn't the best barber. In fact, I was the worst barber in that shop. For the next year, I proceeded to fuck up people's lineups, and the other barbers had to fix them. I was getting bad reviews. They were world renowned as the best shop. If you look at the reviews on the Rich Barber in Sacramento, there would be 3- and 2-star reviews from this new kid who was an apprentice. And the owner of the shop would pull me aside over the next year and be like, bro, look, one of the barbers had to fix your haircut. The mom left, came back 2 days later when they realized how bad it was, and they had to fix it. Like, this can't go on. You need to get better. And I literally would have this anxiety of like, fuck, what if they kick me out? I don't have anywhere to go. That just showed me how important it is to take a massive risk. So what would you say is the bigger risk you started to take from age 18, 19, 20?
Biggest risk for me was probably like moving to Miami.
Yeah, dropping out of school first.
Dropping out of school, moving to Miami, and definitely buying nice cars. You know, I bought my Lambo and my Don when I wasn't fully there yet. You know, it was like an everything on the line move. Yep. I'm gonna go all in and become this person. You know, most people online will call that stupid, but I mean, now I'm sitting with a SVJ making multiple 6 figures a month. Yeah. And at the time it was stupid. Yeah. But I had to get my self-image to a certain point to experience the results I have now. I had to be that guy pulling up in a Lambo. I had to be the guy pulling up in a Don to get to that next level of multiple 6 figures a month. Because I knew 30, 40,000 a month was just a peak. It was just the max point in Arizona. There's only so far I can rise. I'm just the dude of the city in the I-8. I'm not seeing any other Lambos, maybe from an OnlyFans girl, but like I'm not seeing anything else. And yeah, the biggest risk for me was putting everything on the line and upgrading my lifestyle. Like we were talking about, progressive overload shouldn't just be applied in the gym, it should be applied in every area of life. I need more expenses, you know what I mean? When you make $200,000 in a month, I can't have $10,000 a month in expenses. Yeah. I need 30,000, I need 40,000, you know what I mean? And that's what gives you that jump start at the head of each month. Yeah. Damn, I got this fucking $40,000 bill right here.
Yeah, every month.
You know? And then sometimes you pay it, sometimes that debt is done early. Sometimes you knock it out in fucking 2 days. Yeah. Sometimes it takes a week. But like, it's just being on offense and having that pressure under you. They say pressure either creates diamonds or it crushes you. You know, like I became a damn diamond. I became a diamond with that shit. So
the biggest change sounds like you, instead of trying to be calculated and have a fucking perfect plan all laid out, I'm gonna have this much in my savings, and then I'm gonna invest it properly and get a cosign and make sure I'm safe and good. Yeah. You were like, fuck it, I'm gonna empty my bank account and go all in on this shit. Yeah, yeah. When I bought the Huracan and the Don, I had 20,000 left in my bank account. Yeah. I watched that over the next month or so go down to 9,000. Yeah. You know, but that was the time I felt the most alive. Your ability to become successful depends on your ability to handle stress. Yeah. So people at the lower levels are like, my life's so hard. My $2,000 rent's coming up and my $600 car payment's coming up. I'm like, it never gets fucking easier. You just get stronger. That was when you felt the most alive. Yeah. When you fucking bought 2 cars, watched your bank go from hundreds of thousands to 20,000. Oh, bro, I was in 9,000. I was in the game, but I think that's something you only experience through having trauma in your life. You know what I mean? I watched my dad just fucking disintegrate in front of me. And after that moment of losing my superhero at the time, watching him sell the house he built,
My mom asked me, Vincent, your dad's Tahoe, like, we can't afford his funeral. So we're either gonna have to give up that car and pay for the funeral, or you can keep that car when you're older. Because my grandpa couldn't pay for the funeral either. I was like, use the car. You know what I mean? Use the car, pay for his funeral. I'm sitting at that funeral and I see my grandpa crying. And in my head, I didn't feel like a victim. I thought, damn, imagine having a son, watching him grow up and become successful and disintegrate after that. I wasn't sad or sorry for myself. I was sorry for my grandpa. You know, my grandpa pulled me aside when I was 9 years old before my dad passed, and he's like, you have to become the man of this family. Ever since my dad passed, I lost a piece of me. I lost a piece of my emotions. I lost the bitch in me. It's weird. So the only time I'll really feel alive is if I'm making a crazy ass financial decision. It's gotta be crazy. Yeah. I couldn't go buy, you know, like another $80,000 car and have that feeling.
Nope.
I couldn't go buy a fucking Rolex and have that feeling.
Yeah.
I want to buy the nicest shit. I want to do crazy ass stuff. I have to live a high dopamine life because that's the time that I really do feel alive, you know? Yeah. So everything's a blessing and a curse. If you can handle stress, you're going to become successful.
That's fine. Damn. Instead of trying to be safe and make sure it all works out, it's logical. Boldness is a greater indicator of success than intelligence.
Yeah.
None of that shit was smart. None of that shit was by the book, the risks you took. Drop out of school, textbook answer, no, that's not a smart decision.
Yeah. And I think the only real measure of intelligence is if you get what you want out of life. So you could call it intelligence to some degree. On surface level, I really do believe that I have a fairly high IQ.
Yeah.
But on surface level, everyone around me is calling me stupid, but I've already pre-analyzed where this path is going, and I don't like that reality.
Yeah.
I was like, I'd enjoy my reality more whether I become successful or not, under more stress of how am I gonna get my next meal.
Come on.
I realized that I had to not conform with the crowd because the enemy to success isn't cowardice, it's conformity. So I was like, I'm gonna separate from what everyone else is doing, because if I wanna get results nobody else has, I have to do things nobody else has done. And I went out on my own journey. And at the end of that, now it's like, wow, Vince, you're a genius. You know, you dropped out of school. I wasn't a genius then. No. I was the stupid kid, and you're gonna regret dropping out of high school, and you're gonna miss being a kid.
Yeah.
But then when you pull it off, you're the man.
Come on.
You know, so a lot of people watching this are in that middle stage now. They haven't pulled it off yet. There's light at the end of the tunnel. But your mindset has to be proving everyone wrong and staying focused. It's not worrying about what other people think. A lot of people have these beliefs that there's an evil eye or whatever. The only thing is your own self-belief. Like, if you believe in yourself, no matter who doubts you, no matter who says you can or can't, you have to believe in yourself, and then you'll become successful. You have to have faith, then you'll become successful.
You know it's real when you are who you think you are.
Exactly.
Come on.
It's the #1 Drake quote.
Right on, bro.
Yeah, bet. All right, then,
inspire them.
Yes, sir.
Like always, part 2.
Yeah.
More to come once you get the fucking next whip. We'll just run it back.
It's gotta be
back.
damn Bugatti next, bro.
Yes, sir. Damn.